Hey guys, what's going on? Another one over here at CH Labs. So, if you're anything like me, you've been getting to the point now where, you've been gaming on your old gaming laptop for a while, and it's going okay. Your games are running okay-ish. Maybe your FPS isn't as high as you'd like it to be. Maybe you can't crank your graphics settings up as much as you'd want to, right? And now it's starting to get to the point where you have that game that's coming out, that game that's right around the corner, and you're really, really excited about it. You've been reading everything about it, and watching all the trailers for it, and you're super, super pumped. You go to check that game out, and you realize that your graphics card is either like the minimum recommended card, or maybe it's getting to the point where your graphics card isn't even like supported on this game anymore because it's so old. And now you're starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time we finally start looking at some kind of new gaming laptop. And if you're at that point, like me, then maybe it's worth at least considering one of these guys. This is the Asus ROG Strix. This is the G614J, and it has been going pretty well overall. I've had it for about, I don't know, maybe 8-9 months now, and in those months that I've had it, I've really come to appreciate this specific price point for a gaming laptop, and I'm kind of starting to think that maybe this really is the ideal area for what a gaming laptop really should be, at least for this price point. And I've got a couple reasons that I want to dive into about that. First off is just the display. The display is absolutely gorgeous. It's, I believe, not quite 4K, but just a little under 4K, but it's 240 hertz and it's 16 inches, so it is absolutely crisp and smooth and fast, and there is nothing that you can put on this laptop that doesn't just look silky smooth when it's running. And it is an LCD panel, but for being an LCD panel, the colors are just very vibrant, and they pop and they look really good when you're actually on the laptop. And obviously everyone's here watching on a different display, so I can't quite show you exactly what I'm seeing in real life, but I can at least tell you that it looks really good when you're playing your games directly on it. For what's under the hood, we got a 13th gen i9, I believe it's the 13980HX, so it is very capable in the processor department. It's got 1 terabyte PCIe SSD, it has 2 16GB DDR5 RAM sticks, so 32 gigs total of DDR5 RAM. It has Wi-Fi 6E, it has a bunch of USB 3 ports, and it has a Thunderbolt port on it, and it supports 280 watts charging, but it also takes 100 watts over that Thunderbolt port, so it is very convenient to keep powered in any circumstance, whether you lose your laptop, or it's just more convenient to use a super fast phone charger, or something like that. You can at least keep the laptop juiced up for general day-to-day tasks. And speaking of the I/O on the laptop, in total we do have the barrel jack DC in charger. Again, that supports 280 watts. We have a LAN port that I believe is gigabit. We have an HDMI. We have 2 USB-Cs. One of them is a USB 3.2. The other one is Thunderbolt, so that one is what's going to give you your essentially everything in one connector, whether it be another HDMI or a second LAN connection, or whether you want to charge the laptop through there, whatever it may be. I personally find it very convenient to connect it to a dock. So at my desk, I have a dock with all my cables plugged into it, my HDMI, my LAN, my USBs, my power, everything connected to that dock. And then I just plug the one dock cable into the USB-C, the Thunderbolt USB-C, and with just that one cable, everything comes to life. The monitor connects, the keyboard and mice connect, it's charging, everything starts working. The only thing I'd need to plug in after that is if I need to do my, again, the 280 watts fast charger for some intense gaming, like Helldivers on max settings or something like that, whatever it may be. But for just general day-to-day use cases, it's just a one cable, and it plugs in and then it unplugs, and you can take it with you, and it is super easy and convenient. And having having Thunderbolt connections on your gaming laptop is something that once you try it, you cannot go back. I'm not even kidding. We just, like I said, the ability and the convenience to have a dedicated dock almost feels like a Nintendo Switch level of convenience, where you just plug the one cable in, everything starts connecting, you have your at-desk PC gaming experience, then as soon as you want to take it somewhere, you unplug the one cable, stuff it in your backpack, and you're out the door. It's really, really convenient. Oh, and let's not forget the main thing that I know you're wondering about. What kind of graphics card is this bad boy packing? This exact model has the RTX 4070 in it. So it is right in that perfect middle ground, like I said, for being a gaming laptop. It's not quite a 4080 or a 4090, but that's what helps keeps the laptop from running super, super hot. And it's also what keeps the laptop from being ridiculously top of the line expensive. And at least for me personally, in my 2 cents, my personal opinion, is that if you were going to get a card as capable as a 4080 or a 4090, you might want to just put it in a desktop tower anyways and get the full desktop experience. Have a desktop sized graphics card, have a desktop class cooling and airflow, and being able to just match it with every other perfect component to get that top of the line experience if you're already paying for a top of the line card. If you're getting a gaming laptop, obviously you still want really great performance, but you're ideally looking for portability and not trying to take a 30-pound brick with you every time you want to take it to your friend's house or whatever it may be. So personally, for me, I feel like the 4070 is right in that perfect price point. The temperature range, everything about the performance is still great. It outperforms a PS5 and an Xbox Series X still. I mean, it looks really, really good, and you can take it with you. It's very, very convenient. And speaking of that 4070, I'm sure everybody wants to know, how well does it perform? Well, considering how reasonably thin the laptop is for having a 4070 inside of it and a 13th gen i9, I feel like it's respectably well. In Helldivers 2, when you're just walking through your ship, whether it be you're sitting there managing your inventory, or if you're just chilling, admiring deep space, whatever the case may be, when you're sitting there in your ship in Helldivers 2, you're getting about 80 to 85 FPS. When you're out there on the battlefield actually doing a mission, you're probably getting anywhere from 60 to 70 FPS, depending on how much action is actually happening at any given point. In Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Outbreak Zombies, which I know is not everybody's favorite game at this point, but it was just another large game that I could throw at it to give everybody a reference as to where we were at. We were getting about a solid 100 FPS on that game. In the new Skur Ritual game, which also is like a traditional Call of Duty Zombies game, but you know, the maps are a little bit more scaled back, so it's not extremely large maps, but there's maybe higher detail in it. We were getting all the way up to 160 FPS, but all the way down to about 120 to even 110 FPS, depending again on how much action is happening at any given point. But you can get all the way up past 100 FPS, 150 FPS on this 4070 in this laptop. Also in Fortnite, with everything cranked all the way up, playing a zero build battle royale, it was getting anywhere from 60, 65 FPS at the highs, down to about 40, 45 FPS on the lows, which isn't necessarily the greatest, but again, it's a laptop, not a desktop, with everything cranked all the way up to the max, and on average, it did stay closer to that 60 FPS limit. With it being a 40 series graphics card, it is definitely VR ready, it's definitely VR capable, and again, with it having that USB-C Thunderbolt port, it is by far and large one of the easiest computers to connect a VR headset to. I mean, you just get something like a MetaQuest 3 and this laptop, and with one C-to-C cable, boom, you are connected. And having it be a Thunderbolt port, a full 40 gigabit per second Thunderbolt port, you are having no bandwidth restrictions to that headset, right? So no matter what the speed throughput of the headset is, you know that on the laptop side, that Thunderbolt port is giving you everything that the headset can take. Load times on the laptop are extremely quick. I would say maybe 80 to 90% as fast as a PlayStation 5. So right on par with the Series X pretty much. It loads up pretty much any game in that, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 second range. There's not a single game that you're sitting there just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to load, right? I mean, it is right now with that SSD, and again, it is 1 TB out the box. But being a PCIe SSD, it'd be very easy to just pop off the back of the laptop, pull out the SSD, and pop in a bigger one. If at any point you feel like expanding, it'd be super, super easy and straightforward. Same with the memory sticks. If you feel like pulling those out and putting more in later, very accessible, extremely easy. Speaking of the bottom of the laptop, this thing has 3 intake fans, so it is just inhaling air and completely blowing anything around it out of its path with how much air this thing can push out. So yeah, guys, that's been my experience with the laptop for about 8-9 months. Like I said, I can't really give any major complaints to it. I've been getting all my gaming done on it, and I like it. I really like it. If you guys also have the laptop or anything similar, let me know what you think of it. If you're in the market for a new system, let me know what you think about getting. And make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and thanks a bunch. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.